Ever witnessed someone so smug and self-centered, you felt your blood boil? I did when a man shamelessly cut in front of a group of elderly people and smirked like he owned the place. But when fate handed me the perfect opportunity, let's just say, I made sure his weekend plans went up in smoke. Literally. If you've ever wanted to serve karma piping hot to someone who truly deserved it, you're in the right place. Hit that like button, subscribe if you haven't already, and get ready because this revenge is so cold, he had to eat his noodles that way. Part 1. The setup. Just another day at the grocery store. It was a lazy afternoon. One of those days where the grocery store feels more like a place to zone out than run errands. I had my cart, my list, and was halfway through collecting the stuff I needed when I noticed the checkout lanes starting to fill up. I veered into the shortest one and exhaled. Nice. No drama. Just a quiet wait. Beside my lane was the priority line, clearly marked for seniors, PWDs, pregnant women, and the like. There were a few elderly folks waiting quietly. Some sat on the plastic chairs provided by the store, grateful for the relief from standing. It was peaceful, respectful, the kind of thing that restores a bit of faith in humanity. Until he showed up. Part 2. The antagonist appears, the line cutter. He walked like the rules didn't apply to him. Mid-30s, smug smirk, wearing an overpriced polo shirt like he just walked off a yacht. His phone was glued to his ear, and he barely acknowledged the world around him. He sauntered right up to the register, cutting in front of the elderly people who had been waiting patiently. I stared for a moment. Was this guy serious? One of the seniors, a fragile woman maybe in her 70s, shifted uncomfortably. Another elderly man raised his eyebrows but said nothing. You could feel the tension, but they weren't going to say anything. They looked like they'd seen this kind of disrespect before and had grown tired of fighting it. So I opened my mouth. Hey, they're already in line, I said, calmly but firmly. And this man, he didn't even bother to turn around. Without looking up, he said, I don't see them standing in line though. His tone was mocking, arrogant, dismissive, and that was it. He faced forward again like I wasn't even there. My fists clenched on the cart handle. My chest tightened, not just from anger but from that deep, stinging sense of injustice. You know that feeling when someone gets away with being awful and you're too stunned to do anything. Yet, the elderly folks didn't say a word. They just sat there, eyes low. I shut my mouth and simmered. But the story doesn't end there. Part 3. The slow burn. The boiling point. A few minutes passed. The line crawled forward. I kept replaying the moment in my head. His smug face, his mocking voice, the way he looked down on people who had every right to be treated with dignity. I needed something, anything, to right this wrong. Then I looked over at his cart. It was packed. Marshmallows, instant noodles, a roll of toilet paper, plastic utensils, a sleeping bag, a pack of paper plates, a foldable camp chair, a small portable stove, and one small canister of butane gas. And that's when it clicked. This guy was clearly going camping. Everything in his cart was geared for it. But that little can of butane? That was the heartbeat of his weekend. Without it, that stove was just dead weight.
No flam.
No heat. No hot meals.
No coffee.
Just cold, crunchy noodles in the woods. Part 4. Turning point. Opportunity knocks. And fate? Oh, fate was smiling. Because at that exact moment, he was still yammering away on his phone. Distracted. Bragging about something, maybe to a friend or girlfriend. I could hear him chuckling. Yeah, bro, I'm already at checkout. Didn't have to wait. People here are too polite, man. Too polite? Nah, pal. Just waiting. That was it. My pulse quickened. My hands were shaking, not out of fear, but adrenaline. It was that feeling you get when you know the universe just handed you a loaded slingshot and pointed at Goliath. So I did it. Part 5. The execution. Swipe and slide. One smooth, casual motion. I leaned slightly toward his cart. He was still facing the register, still on the phone, completely unaware. I plucked the canister of butane from the edge of his cart and slid it into mine. He didn't flinch, didn't even glance. The perfect heist. Silent, precise, the sweetest little act of poetic justice. Moments later, he paid for his stuff and left. Still talking, still smirking. I waited my turn, paid for my groceries, including the little gas canister, and walked out feeling lighter than I had all day. Part 6. The payoff. Cold noodles, cold justice. Now somewhere out there, probably that very night, this guy was deep in the woods. He probably snapped open that camping stove with a grin, ready to make some coffee or cook those instant noodles, and found nothing.
No flam. No butane.
Just confusion, then frustration, then hopefully that dawning realization that somewhere, someone decided he didn't get to win that easily. And if karma has a sense of humor, probably started raining. So there he sat, huddled under a tarp, eating raw, crunchy noodles with no coffee, no fire, and no one to blame but himself. Part 7. Reflection. When kindness isn't enough. I don't always believe in revenge. But sometimes, being nice isn't enough. Sometimes you have to balance the scales a little yourself. That day, I couldn't stop the guy from cutting in line. I couldn't take away his ego or his arrogance. But I could make sure that the warmth he stole from those elderly people was the warmth he never got to have on that cold, lonely camping trip. You never really know who you're messing with. Some people might be too polite to fight back, but others, well, they just wait for the perfect moment to make you pay, quietly, completely, and without you ever seeing it coming. If this story gave you chills, or made you smile, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe for more stories just like this. And tell me in the comments, what's the most satisfying revenge you've ever seen or done? I might just feature your story next. Until then, stay kind. Or at the very least, don't be that guy.